Welcome back to Tethered and Whole, the podcast dedicated to helping you thrive in every aspect of your life, one week at a time. I'm your host, Matt Weld, and today we're diving deep into a topic that's fundamental to our well-being, our social emotional learning, and quite frankly, our entire existence, and that is belonging. Now, I'm an introvert. I can happily spend days at home, recharging in my own space and not feel a single pang of loneliness. But even for me, the need to feel like I belong, to be part of something larger, is undeniable. And the more I talk to people, whether I'm presenting on SEL or just chatting in line at the grocery store, the more I realize this isn't just my experience. We simply can't do this life thing alone. Think about it. Belonging is one of our greatest human needs. It's about finding that group where we feel safe, seen, and held, where we can truly be ourselves. And for some, this community is their family, the people they've grown up with and who know them inside and out. For others, it's probably more intentional. They actively seek out groups that resonate with their values and with their interests. This social safety net is where we find psychological and emotional security. Without it, we often find ourselves desperately trying to fit in somewhere else, and that could lead to disaster. Some people find themselves in gangs, cults, or other groups with a strong message about who's in and, well, everyone else. It's easy to fall into groups with a strongly identified and messaged enemy, even if it's just a matter of vilifying everyone else who is not a part of the group. And there's a crucial distinction here between belonging and fitting in. You can fit in by wearing the right clothes or sitting with the cool crowd at lunch, but that doesn't mean you genuinely feel like you belong. The Cambridge Dictionary defines belonging as, quote, a feeling of being happy or comfortable as part of a particular group. I'd like to add to that. If you truly belong, you can be your authentic self. Watch your students. They're striving so hard to fit in, and what they're really searching for is that deeper sense of meaning, knowing, and self-awareness that comes from truly belonging. Our schools and all our workplaces need to be places where both students and adults can experience that freedom. Here's the thing. I'll bet you were introduced to Maslow's hierarchy of needs in your teacher prep program. It's often depicted as a pyramid with physiological needs at the bottom and self-actualization at the top. As a side note, it's interesting that the pyramid shape itself wasn't created by Maslow, but by a business management consultant in the 1950s. What's even more fascinating is that Maslow, when he initially published his hierarchy in 1943, approached it with a Western lens, placing the individual smack dab in the center. However, in his research, during the summer of 1938, he visited the Siksika, or Blackfoot Nation in Alberta, Canada. His initial goal was to study how social hierarchies are maintained by dominance, a very Western viewpoint. But what he discovered was exactly the opposite. First Nation cultures, like the Siksika, value community above the individual. Abraham Maslow observed a giveaway ceremony during one of his visits, and where everyone pooled their possessions that they had gathered during the year and gave them to those in greater need. For this particular nation, the Blackfoot, wealth is not measured by money or possessions, but by generosity. In a paper, Maslow wrote, "The wealthiest man in their eyes is one who has almost nothing because he has given it all away." 23 years after his initial publication, Maslow actually tweaked his thinking, writing in an unpublished essay, quote, "The good of other people must be invoked as well as the good for oneself." he has started to see the interconnectedness that we all share. This idea of interdependence is something that Seneca First Nation psychologist Terry Cross has also explored. He argues that human needs aren't hierarchical, but highly interdependent. Think about it. People will sacrifice basic needs for love and belonging for something they value highly. For example, parents will give their own food to their children rather than have their kids starve. Families will pour money and time into their kids or go without sleep in order for their kids to have a better life than the ones that they experienced when they were kids. Another example, soldiers who are willing to die for their country. Here's another example. Building on Cross's ideas, Gitsan tribe member Dr. Cindy Blackstock created a circular model instead of the pyramid that divides human needs into 4 interdependent areas: cognitive, physical, spiritual, and emotional. But regardless of which model resonates more with you, the takeaway is clear. While our Western society often puts the individual at the center, the truth is we thrive in our strong communities when we sometimes have to make personal sacrifices for the greater good. This isn't just an abstract concept. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy has actually defined loneliness as a public health crisis. Our senior citizens, for example, are some of the loneliest in the world, partly because our culture has shifted away from multi-generational living situations where grandparents lived with their kids and their grandkids, and unfortunately it's not just our elders. Studies in Canada and Western Europe show that the search for community and belonging is prevalent across all ages. In the U.S., we see the power of traditions and rituals in our schools as a vital community-building tool. So, how can we foster a sense of belonging in our schools, in our classrooms, in our homes, where everyone feels safe enough to express their authentic selves? Because here's the thing. Those basic human rights of being seen, safe, and held have to be met before real learning can even begin. Here we go. 3 strategies you can implement to build that sense of community in your classroom or in your school. Number 1, create a list of shared interests. This simple act can spark conversations and goodwill. You might be surprised by everything you have in common. Number 2, address barriers head on. This is not a comfortable thing to do, but talk openly about racism and other isms. Discuss biases and discuss emotions most of all. These conversations, though they are hard and they are difficult and you just want to not have them, they can break down walls. Number 3, praise genuinely and regularly. High levels of criticism are a hallmark of dysfunctional schools and classrooms. Praise shows you care, making those tough conversations much easier to navigate when they arise. So, as educators, think about the community you've built in your classroom. Do you have a shtick, something unique that makes your room special? A place where students feel like they belong? Maybe it's a specific ritual at the start or end of class, a birthday tradition, or a particular way you say things. This week, I challenge you to be intentional about ensuring every single student feels like they belong. In my career as a teacher, as an administrator, as a coach, I visited countless classrooms, and the most successful ones, the ones where kids thrive, where you walk in and you feel that energy, are those where the culture is clearly created by the teacher and reflects their unique identity and personality. The classroom where students thrive and belong does not look like the one next door. When someone walks into a classroom or even a school, it should absolutely reek of the teacher or the principal's personality. That authenticity creates a space where others can be authentic too. So, you have your task for you this week. Thank you for joining me on Tethered and Whole. Until next time, Keep building those communities and keep shining your authentic light. We'll see you